Hi friends, I wanted to get on here and share some experience that my husband and I had, especially after Katrina. We lived on the Gulf Coast in Mobile, Alabama, and we're definitely affected, and I'm seeing a lot of similar things that's bringing back a lot of memories, good and bad, about that time now after Ian. And I figured this may be helpful information for some of you out there, and if not you, maybe you know someone who could use this information, and I wanted to get it out there. So basically, these are just some red flags, some things now that repairs are going to start getting underway. These are some things that we learned the hard way or from experience that you need to think about and pay attention to when you're seeking repairs or cleanup or anything like that, or rebuilds. So one of the biggest things is patience. I know that seems obvious, but you'd be surprised. We've gotten so used to just calling and clicking and doing things so quickly online or over the phone. And there's an incredible amount of demand right now and pressure on especially our local people. And I can't say this enough, that patience and persistence were two of the greatest things that you can have during this time. Don't give up. If you're not getting through on phones, just try another one and keep going. Just don't give up. And be patient. You may not get called right back away, and you can either wait or keep trying others. There's going to be a huge number now of even out of area professionals that are going to be coming in, and you'll see signs everywhere. You may start seeing ads pop up. I mean, you're gonna get lots of options, and that leads me to my number 2. So let me share a little story. We had a big tree fall on the back corner part of our house in Mobile after Katrina, and we needed it removed. And we needed repair. So we were literally, it was raining in our living room. I mean, it was awful. And you look at that and you think, oh my gosh, it's like the first thing you learn in emergency care is stop the bleeding, right? So we just wanted to stop the water from coming into the house. And basically we needed a tarp. So that was the easy thing. And we had some people who were volunteering to come and do tarps, and that was amazing. And we had some friends who had chainsaws that helped us remove this tremendous tree. I mean, we're talking huge tree. It was like the trunk was the width of a VW Bug. I mean, it was this huge tree. So it took a couple of days, but we got that out of there. And I can't stress enough to try to do as much as you can, or any of your friends or family or neighbors or just good Samaritans, as much as you can do on your own. That is huge. I can't stress that enough. So, but we were able to get that done. And then we got a blue tarp put on our roof, and that was a great Band-Aid. That gave us a little bit of breathing room to start calling and looking into roofers. Well, what I can say is, we knew we couldn't go with the most expensive roofer, and we were actually going from a shingle to a metal. We had a shingle roof, and we decided that we would be willing to invest and upgrade our roof and get a metal roof. So we were shopping around for metal roofs. And I'm going to try to keep this story short but informative. Long story short, we didn't go with the most expensive quote, and we got 4 different people were able to actually make it out and give us estimates, which, by the way, estimates are always free. Never, ever, ever pay for an estimate, whether it's from a professional surveyor or a professional adjuster, or an actual company, roofing company. Estimates are always free. They don't charge for those services. And so we were able to get several estimates. Fortunately, we had people able to come out and give us that. We ended up going with kind of the middle tier one. And I checked references. I probably could have done a little bit more digging with references, but after we really liked their quote, we They were also telling us, oh, we can do it right away. We can get you on our schedule right away, which, I mean, you're just desperate for that when you're trying to get those repairs done. So I understand when you're in that desperate mode. I mean, that's how they know they've got you. So we were definitely anxious and desperate, wanting to get our roof repaired so that it could avoid further water coming in. And so, but we didn't take the, most expensive, and we didn't take the least expensive. So we didn't go with the cheapest quote. And I did a little bit of due diligence. But a very long story short, we signed a little estimate. Here's a quote of what it's going to cost. This is what we're going to do. Labor, materials, and then here's the price. And so we gave 25% deposit, which it's not uncommon for anywhere from 25 to 50% even deposit to be put down to get the work going. And a lot of times this is before any insurance kicks in. I mean, we were weeks away from getting any idea of what our insurance was going to cover, but we knew we had to get it fixed. So this was coming out of our own pocket. And so it takes time, and they do ask for a deposit. So we put in our deposit, and again, to make a very long story short, they started doing it's gonna be a little bit more. Well, it's gonna be a little bit more. And we started seeing the red flags, and they stopped showing up as often to do the work. And things just started happening to where we decided that we didn't want to continue with them. And then they started coming after us for the remainder of what they had quoted us. They were actually going to take legal action to come after us for the remainder. And we were able to prove, because we had our quote and we had the work that they had already done, we were able to prove that we had to fire them and that they were being negligent and were not completing their side of the bargain. So we were fortunate to get out of that situation, and they had started the repairs. So some of the work was done, but we ended up having to go with another company to come and make some improvements and repairs to the work that they had already done. But some of the red flags for us were, I mean, I'd like to say that we all have a natural sense of feeling whether someone's trying to rip you off or do one over on you. But many of us don't, and especially when our emotions and we're so stressed and the situation is stressful. Again, patience. Look, the damage is done. Things are ruined. I mean, you getting a contractor 1 week earlier because he's ready to go, it's not worth it if they're going to do a bad job or rake one over on you. So I can't stress enough, get references, at least 2 to 3. Call those references. Get an idea of how they work, what kind of communication they have with you, and how they like to get paid. We chose to pay by check, which was great, because then if we had to stop payment on something, we could. You can't get money back usually. Definitely never pay cash, but and some of them, I do remember one of the quotes we had, they said they wanted their deposit in cash, and that was a huge red flag. I mean, you'd be surprised that people actually go for this, and this is why they do these things. And so be patient. I can't say that enough. Always get the contracts and exactly, how much do they want down. Make sure you're documenting everything. Try to get a folder or some kind of system in place where in one place you have everything you need in one place. Always document your communication. Save your texts and emails. Save any paperwork from them. Try to even take a video documentation as the work is going on. We didn't have that ability back then. This was back in Katrina, and it just wasn't as popular back then to video everything. So, but now we do. So take advantage of that. And then ask your insurance companies, whether it's your flood or your homeowners, ask about advance payments. Some of them do offer that ability so that the money doesn't necessarily come out of your pocket right away. Ask about those advance payments. But many deductibles are high enough that they'll cover a deposit anyway to get work started. So it's going to come out of your pocket anyhow. So the sooner you can find someone that is going to commit to you. Obviously, they're very, very, very busy. And I already have seen trucks from out of state coming down, roofing companies coming from out of state, all of these other, they know that if they're here to help, this is a place that they can help and earn a living. And it's okay, and that's fair. I mean, they should be paid for their work. But we just have to watch out for those red flags. And sometimes they're not so obvious, especially if you've never made a claim before, if you've never gone through a natural disaster before. So please, please, please protect yourself. If they are already difficult to communicate with from the beginning, and be clear and matter of fact with them. Say, this is what I expect. Are you able to do that? Are you able to communicate with me regularly? What is your communication method? How will you regularly update me on the work that's being done? Chances are, if it's bad enough, you're not living in your home while they're making the repairs. And, many still can't even access their property yet. So I realize this is probably premature, but just know that if you feel ask other people questions. Don't be afraid to ask anybody questions, especially your insurance adjuster or your insurance companies. They know, they've dealt with this before. They know what's a red flag as well. They're there to help you. They also don't want to overspend or spend what they don't have to spend. So it's important that you don't let the stress and the emotions of what you're going through right now hinder or hurt you by wanting things so quickly. That was really our biggest lesson that we learned when we went through everything back after Katrina. It's, had we just been a little bit more patient and not so excited that they were willing to do the work quickly and get in and out, they were ready to move on to the next person to swipe a few $1,000s from. So it's going to be out there. Unfortunately, we can't stop that. We just need to be proactive. I'm going to be sharing some more videos about stuff we learned about insurance and some things that I'm also becoming aware of now in Florida with insurance, that it's we're going to be in a bit of a crisis here, and I think people need to know. So I think that's everything about that. If you have any questions, if you're personally going through anything, please reach out. Many of us realtors here in the area have tons of resources. We have people that are already vetted from before the storm. So these are people that we've worked with, people we've had relationships with, people who have already done work for us that we can trust and we can refer out. We can't guarantee they'll be available, but again, I cannot stress this enough. A good worker is worth the wait. It's worth the extra damage. If any is done, it's just worth it. And we're praying for all of you out there who are just completely displaced. And I know how stressful and overwhelming and shocking this all is, and it will never leave you. I just pray we use it as fuel to just build back better and stronger. And if we didn't have a loss of life, then consider ourselves so grateful and lucky, and let's just help each other out there. Be positive. We can do this. And there are many of us here who are ready to help you, and I'm one of them. So however I can help you with information or get you information or send you anything, please don't hesitate to ask. Thinking about you guys out there. Take care.